and welcome back to NewHomeSalesLeaders.com. Jeff Shore here with you, and I'm thrilled to have with us today Lee Whitaker from Pacesetter Homes in Austin, Texas. How are you doing, Lee?
Doing well, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it very much. You know, you're in the Austin market. You're in that market that's, it's fairly robust. It's going fairly well, and it's a beautiful city, of course. I want to talk to you, though, about your customer care and about what you're doing in regards to how you were relating to your customers and some of the things that sort of set you apart from other builders in how you approach your customers in the first place, because you've sort of got a different spin on it. Talk to us a little bit about the paradigm shift, about what you're doing to take care of your customers in a different way.
Sure. Jeff, last year we had a paradigm shift in how we viewed who was walking through the door. As you know, 2011 was a tough year, and we had fewer and fewer people walking through the door. And what our goal was is to eliminate some of the verbiage that we had used previously, which was an up, or we have a prospect walking in the door. And our shift was to be more connecting with who was walking through the door. So today, the person who walks through the door is our guest. They're our guest in our home. And whether they buy from us or not, we're going to do our best to make them our friend. When they do buy from us, they're part of our family at that point in time. And those are labels. And labels can only go so far. But what we do with that guest walking through the door, our goal is not to enter into our sales presentation within the first 5 minutes of the guest walking through the door. Rather, what we want to do is spend the time connecting with them, learning who they are, and then moving over to comprehending why they are there before we go into contributing what our knowledge is about both our neighborhood and the homes that we build.
What are you doing to help your salespeople sort of buy into that message and head in that direction? I mean, you've got salespeople have a tendency to want to say, let's do this, let's get into the sales process, let's talk about your needs and everything else. What are you doing to help your salespeople buy into that message?
Sure. The first thing was obviously going through some mystery shops so we can set a baseline to what we're doing today. Yeah. And it was really revealing because when we would talk to our team, they would say, oh, I'm spending a lot of time really connecting with somebody when they walk through the door. But when actually they walk through the door and we read that timestamp where we're entering into our presentation on what we have really within the first 90 seconds, and that's just not where we want to be. To follow up on those coaching opportunities, we utilized both their videos and showed them exactly where they were, and we put together a matrix, and that matrix is broken down into 4 different parts on really what are the 25 things we would like to uncover in that first 5 minutes, or those questions that we can go to allow us to learn more about that. And part of it comes from some other resources, and part of it comes from you. I remember going to a seminar not too long ago that 5 whys deep. You got to get 5 whys deep, and it's not just where you work, how long have you worked there, how do you like it, what are your opportunities for advancement. It's really just playing into that guest walking through the door and getting them talking about themselves.
Right. You had said at one point in a previous conversation, you actually used the word family, welcome them into the family.
Absolutely.
Is that hyperbole, or do you actually use that term with your people?
We use that term with both our sales associates out in the field, and then when it is that we have somebody that buys and becomes family, and that emanates at the top. Once somebody purchases, not just phone calls from upper management, but we sit down as a management team every Tuesday, and from construction to sales to our division president, and we write handwritten notes to our new family members, welcome them to our family, and then they have touches along the way to let them know that we are here, and that they're not just 4602 Cinda Lane, right. It's Randy Smith, and that they are part of our family.
So people in the division, other than salespeople, are regularly communicating then with people who are purchasing a home? Obviously the default method in the home building industry is you only talk to your customer as much as you need to talk to your customer, and even that, it's just sales and maybe your design center, whatever it is. But are you suggesting that people in the division office are out there talking to customers?
Absolutely. Not so much in the sales office, right. But let's start there. Yeah. One of our biggest sales aids to the guests walking through the door is our construction team. We have a very good production team, and what we do with those guests when they're there, if we have an opportunity to introduce them to who is going to build their home and have them start to take that ownership of this is the person who's going to build my home, well, we take full advantage of that. But we follow it up on the field level. every Monday, every buyer in backlog, from somebody who wrote this weekend to they're getting ready to close tomorrow, they'll get a phone call from sales and from construction every Monday. Sales goes through how are you and where we are in the loan process, and we turn it over to our team member, and this is what's going to be happening in your home this week. A little bit backed up with our electricians right now. The market's really good. They're really busy, so you might see a little delay next week, and we've really tried to manage that on the field level. On the management side, again, every Tuesday I sit down with our director of operations and our division president, and then we sit down and welcome our new guest, our new friend into our family through handwritten letters. And you'd be amazed that people get them and they respond to them. In a very good way. We're getting the response from who I report to, my division president, as it seems like he gets the phone calls more than Clay and I on the construction, and they go straight to him and let him know we're having a great experience, or they'll let him know, I'm not quite sure about this, and it's really helped us uncover some opportunities that we have with some of our processes and how they're viewed from the field.
You're going to get some competitors who are going to look at it and say, "Oh, that's sweet. That's nice. You have guests, and you have friends, and you have family, and you've got all that. We have sales."
Right.
Some are going to suggest that your approach might be a little soft. What would you say to that?
That's a good question. And what I'd say to that is that I have a writer's cramp on Tuesdays because we're selling homes and we're getting to write some letters. But what I would say to that as well is that what we're trying to value here is the experience that we build with the guest walking through the door. We do want to get the closing. We do want to get the sale, but what we've identified as the best way to do that is to build a longer, more thorough experience for the guest walking through the door. But it has translated into an increase in our business plan for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And I would guess that you're probably also seeing some benefit in referrals from your customers at a pretty healthy pace.
That's one of the first questions we ask when somebody walks through the door. Who referred you?
Yeah.
And then we circle back to that in our presentation to why we asked that question, and that's because we do receive a lot of referrals, but it also helps us, as by setting them up with that question. It also helps us to explain why we don't negotiate when somebody comes in and says, yeah, I'm looking for a little bit more, and it allows us to talk about our referral capacity and how we've earned that referral capacity, and that's by treating everybody the same.
You've described this program as something that is a culture throughout the entire organization,
Sure.
that everybody buys into it, that everybody's
Sure.
a part of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible to pull this off if only the sales discipline is really bought off on this? Or maybe to put it another way, you've got sales managers from all around the country right now who are watching and saying, well, that's all well and good, but there's no way that I could get my division president to make a phone call or write a letter. I mean, is this something that has to be an entire that the entire company is bought in order to get this to work?
To fully maximize the benefit, yeah, I believe that our organization as a whole has bought into it, both in the field level with sales and construction, but on a weekly basis, our internal customers here, some of the our operations folks, our starts coordinators and our closing coordinators, we're Pacesetter Homes, and our logo is horses. So what they came up with independently on their own is the Pacesetter Derby. They asked for the goals, and we gave them the goals, and they went out and got the salespeople's pictures, and they put them on horses, and every Monday when those sales come in, they move those horses to their finish line. Right. They take pictures of it, and they rally the troops out in the field. And I got to tell you that their buy-in is really what's helped us be successful on the front end, because when they come in and bring those contracts in, accounts payable is happy for them. There's that extra sense of reward that they're not just doing it for themselves or for the company, they're doing it for people, and it keeps people employed. But so could it be done with just the sales team? It could be. Would you realize the full benefit of the paradigm shift? You wouldn't.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Great stuff. And I do think that's just an important part of what it is. It's the question of whether or not this is a program or a culture. And it sounds like at Pacesetter, you've got the cultural side of it absolutely down. Congratulations. Good work changing the world, one home buyer at a time. Thanks for taking the time with us today, Lee. We really appreciate it.
Jeff, thanks for having me.